No one saw it coming. Not the fans, not the commentators, and certainly not the WWE Universe watching around the globe. At Crown Jewel 2025, Rhea Ripley didn't just return. She rewrote the rules of chaos. When her music hit, the stadium in Riyadh erupted. The lights went purple, the smoke rose, and that familiar guitar riff tore through the air like a thunderclap. For weeks, rumors had swirled that Mommy was injured, out of action, maybe even considering a heel turn that would shock the entire division. But nothing could prepare the audience for what came next. Rhea Ripley walked to the ring not in her usual black leather, but in a sleek, silver outfit shimmering under the lights, the Judgment Day insignia barely visible. She wasn't carrying a title belt. She was carrying a glass of champagne. And right behind her, to the disbelief of everyone watching, came IYO Sky and Grayson Waller. Two names no one ever expected to share a moment with Rhea Ripley, let alone toast together on WWE's biggest international stage. The commentators fell silent. Then Michael Cole broke the tension. Wait, what the hell is this? Fans couldn't believe what they were seeing. Rhea Ripley, the once feared leader of Judgment Day, the enforcer who brutalized anyone in her path, was now clinking glasses with one of SmackDown's most cunning opportunists and Raw's most unpredictable star. Cameras zoomed in as she smirked and raised her glass toward the crowd, mouthing, "New era." Social media instantly exploded. Within minutes, Rhea Ripley Crown Jewel trended worldwide. "Is this the end of Judgment Day?" one user posted. "Why is IYO Sky teaming with Rhea?" another screamed. The arena screens flashed highlights of Ripley's past dominance, her brutal rivalries, her war with Becky Lynch, and then cut back to the ring, where she poured her drink over the mat, symbolically erasing the past. The crowd erupted into chaos. Some cheered, others booed, but one thing was clear: this was no ordinary promo. This was a message. Then, as the cameras focused on Rhea's icy expression, Grayson Waller took the mic. "Ladies and gentlemen," he said smugly, "you're looking at the future of WWE, the ones who don't play by the old rules." The audience jeered, but Rhea didn't flinch. She simply stared down the camera, her eyes burning with something between vengeance and ambition. And just before the screen faded to black, IYO Sky leaned in and whispered something into Rhea's ear that made her grin. A grin that promised trouble. The fans had no idea what was coming next, but they were about to find out. When enemies become allies, chaos isn't a possibility. It's a guarantee. And Rhea Ripley's shocking alliance with IYO Sky and Grayson Waller proved just that. Backstage footage from Crown Jewel revealed what cameras didn't show during the live broadcast. The moments leading up to that now iconic toast. Minutes before their entrance, Rhea was seen pacing in the locker room, her reflection flickering in a cracked mirror. She looked focused, furious, and strangely calm. Then came a knock. IYO Sky entered first, her Money in the Bank briefcase hanging at her side like a trophy. Moments later, Grayson Waller swaggered in, wearing his signature smirk. The tension was electric. Three superstars from completely different worlds now sharing one room. Fans couldn't believe what they were seeing when leaked photos hit social media just hours later. "Rhea and IYO together? That's wild," one post read. Another fan wrote, "There's no way this is real. Waller must be manipulating them." But it wasn't manipulation. It was strategy. During an exclusive WWE digital interview, Rhea said just 6 words that sent shockwaves across the internet. "Sometimes you burn it all down." That line alone told the story. She was done playing protector for Judgment Day. She was done carrying a faction that had turned into a circus of betrayals and excuses. Rhea wanted control again, and she was willing to align with anyone ruthless enough to help her get it. IYO Sky, meanwhile, had her own reasons. After losing her rematch for the Women's Championship, she was desperate to reinvent herself. She admired Rhea's dominance and saw in her a reflection of the same hunger, the need to stand alone, yet command fear. Grayson Waller? He saw opportunity. He knew that wherever controversy went, so did fame. And nothing screamed attention like standing beside Mommy herself on the biggest stage in the world. Viewers on social media went wild dissecting every gesture, every smirk, every word exchanged between the three. Some called it the birth of a new corporate rebellion. Others predicted it was just the calm before the storm, a temporary alliance destined to implode. But Rhea didn't care what anyone thought. At Crown Jewel's after-party, she posted a photo on Instagram. 3 champagne glasses, side by side, the caption reading, "No loyalty, just power." It was enough to make the entire WWE universe spiral with speculation. What did it mean? Was this a tease for a new faction? A warning to the rest of the women's division? Or something even darker? A cross-brand power move that would change everything about WWE's landscape. Whatever it was, one thing was clear. Rhea Ripley wasn't finished making headlines, and the next night on Raw, she'd prove just how dangerous she'd become. The following Monday night, the world expected answers. What they got instead was a takeover. As Raw went live from Chicago, the atmosphere was electric. Every fan in the United Center was on edge, holding their breath for any sign of Rhea Ripley. The Judgment Day locker room was restless. Finn Balor pacing, Dominic Mysterio nervously checking his phone, and Damian Priest staring at the floor in silence. They all knew something was coming. They just didn't know how brutal it would be. Then, right as the opening segment wrapped up, the arena lights went out. A cold blue spotlight cut through the smoke, and Rhea's theme hit with a slow, remixed version that sent chills down everyone's spine. When she stepped onto the stage, fans couldn't believe what they were seeing. She wasn't alone. IYO Sky and Grayson Waller flanked her on either side, both wearing matching "No Loyalty, Just Power" shirts. The crowd erupted into chaos. Some screamed in excitement, others in disbelief. Twitter lit up like wildfire. "She actually brought them to Raw," one fan tweeted. "This is her villain era, and I'm here for it." Rhea walked to the ring with an aura of command. Every step echoed. Every glare cut through the noise. She grabbed the mic and stared straight into the camera. "Judgment Day," she began, her voice low and cold, "was never about family. It was about dominance. And somewhere along the way, you forgot that." The crowd gasped as the Titantron flashed to show backstage footage of Judgment Day arguing earlier that night. Priest slammed a locker door, yelling, "She's gone rogue!" Finn shouted, "She's trying to destroy us!" And maybe she was. Back in the ring, Rhea smirked. "I carried this brand on my back. While you played politics, I broke bones. While you made excuses, I made history. But now," she gestured to IYO and Waller beside her, "I don't need dead weight." Suddenly, the Judgment Day's entrance theme hit. Priest, Finn, and Dominic stormed down the ramp, ready to confront her. The crowd lost its mind. Fans couldn't believe what they were seeing. The family Rhea helped build was about to implode live on television. Microphones dropped. Words were exchanged off mic, tension exploding into a chaotic stare-down. Rhea didn't blink once. IYO Sky cracked her knuckles. Waller smirked like a man who knew the ending before anyone else. Then, in a move no one expected, Rhea threw down her mic and whispered just loud enough for the camera to catch, "If you're not with me, you're already done." A split second later, IYO Sky launched herself over the ropes, hitting a moonsault straight onto Finn Balor. Waller superkicked Dominic. The ring turned into an ambush. The fans screamed. The commentators shouted. Judgment Day was being dismantled by its own queen. But what Rhea did next would make this betrayal look tame. When Rhea Ripley speaks, the world listens. But this time, her message wasn't just heard, it was felt. The Raw arena was in total disarray after the ambush. Medical staff rushed to the ring, pulling Finn Balor and Dominic Mysterio to safety. The Judgment Day was officially in ruins. And standing above the wreckage, microphone in hand, was Rhea Ripley, drenched in sweat, breathing heavy but looking more powerful than ever. Fans couldn't believe what they were seeing. The same Rhea Ripley who once fought for her team was now standing over their broken bodies. The same Mammy the WWE Universe had cheered for was now their new villain. Boos echoed through the arena, but they didn't shake her. They fueled her. "You thought I'd stay loyal forever?" she snarled into the mic. "You thought I'd be the muscle while everyone else played politics? I'm not your enforcer anymore. I'm your reminder that loyalty gets you nowhere." The crowd roared. "You sold out!" chants thundered across the stadium. IYO Sky climbed onto the turnbuckle, smirking proudly as Waller clapped his hands like a ringmaster enjoying his chaos. Rhea raised her arm, and suddenly, all three stood in the center of the ring. The lights dimmed, and the big screen lit up with new text. "The reign begins." Commentators struggled to process it. "Is this a new faction? Are we witnessing the birth of a new era?" Michael Cole shouted. Corey Graves added, "Rhea Ripley just declared war on everyone, male or female." Viewers on social media went wild. Clips of the moment flooded TikTok and Twitter. "Rhea Ripley just destroyed Judgment Day live," one fan posted. "This might be WWE's greatest betrayal since Seth Rollins and The Shield," wrote another. The video reached over 5 million views within hours. Backstage, the fallout was immediate. Reports claimed WWE officials had to separate multiple superstars after tensions boiled over. Becky Lynch was seen storming out of the women's locker room, furious. Even Triple H was caught on camera shaking his head, muttering, "She's gone too far." But Rhea didn't stop there. She stared straight into the camera and said, "To every champion watching this, to every legend still pretending they run this place, I dare you to step up, because this isn't just my return, it's my takeover." The fans screamed louder than ever. The arena lights flickered red, purple, and silver, the new colors of Ripley's rebellion. IYO Sky raised her briefcase. Waller pointed to the WrestleMania sign in the rafters, and Rhea dropped the mic, her expression pure dominance. Then, as they walked up the ramp, Rhea turned one last time. "This is only the beginning," she said coldly. And later that night, when one of WWE's biggest female stars tried to confront her backstage, things went from shocking to outright terrifying. The show was supposed to move on, but WWE cameras caught something so intense, the footage had to be censored before replay. Moments after Rhea Ripley, IYO Sky, and Grayson Waller exited the ring, chaos broke out backstage. The air was thick with tension, every superstar whispering about what they'd just witnessed. For years, Rhea had been respected, feared, even adored. But now she was untouchable, and not everyone was willing to let that stand. As she walked through the hallway, security trailing close, a familiar voice echoed from the distance. "Hey, Rhea!" The crowd watching on the Titantron erupted. It was Becky Lynch. The man stormed into view, fury in her eyes. "You think you can tear down everything we built?" she shouted, stepping right up to Rhea's face. "You're not leading a rebellion. You're hiding behind two opportunists." Fans couldn't believe what they were seeing. Rhea didn't back down an inch. She just smirked and tilted her head. "At least I don't hide behind nostalgia," she said. "Your time's up, Becky. You just don't realize it yet." Gasps echoed across the arena. IYO Sky stepped between them, but Becky shoved her aside. Waller tried to play peacekeeper, grinning. "Ladies, no need to ruin the champagne buzz," before Becky decked him with a right hand that sent him crashing into a stack of crates. The crowd on social media went wild. "Becky just knocked out Waller," one fan posted. "This segment is pure gold," wrote another. Within minutes, clips spread everywhere. The moment Rhea and Becky finally collided again after months of tension. Rhea's smile vanished. She lunged forward and suddenly the two icons were brawling. Fists flying, security scrambling. Hair, boots, chaos. The backstage area turned into a war zone. Equipment toppled, lights shattered, and officials screamed for order. Michael Cole's voice echoed through commentary. "This is total carnage backstage. Rhea Ripley and Becky Lynch are tearing each other apart." The crowd inside the arena chanted, "This is awesome," as the brawl spilled dangerously close to the entrance ramp. Rhea slammed Becky into a metal case, shouting, "I'm the new standard now." Becky retaliated with a forearm that nearly knocked Rhea off balance. Then, in a moment that froze everyone, IYO Sky leapt off a production crate, hitting Becky with a flying dropkick that sent her crashing through a table. The crowd lost it. Fans screamed, commentators shouted, and security finally managed to pull everyone apart. Rhea stood over Becky's motionless body, her breathing ragged but her expression ice cold. She looked straight into the camera and growled, "You wanted a fight? You've got one." The feed abruptly cut to black. The crowd's energy shifted, from shock to awe. And when Raw went off the air, one question echoed across the entire WWE universe. If Becky Lynch couldn't stop Rhea Ripley, who possibly could? Every storm leaves wreckage behind. But Rhea Ripley's storm left the entire WWE landscape in ruins. The next morning, WWE's social media accounts were on fire. Footage of Rhea Ripley and Becky Lynch's backstage war had gone viral across every platform. Millions of fans watched the clip on repeat, stunned at the brutality, the emotion, and the final haunting look on Rhea's face before the camera cut out. "That wasn't a brawl," one fan tweeted. "That was a declaration of war." Within hours, WWE announced that both women were being disciplined for their actions. But fans knew the truth. The company wasn't punishing Rhea. They were promoting her. The chaos she unleashed had reignited global interest in the product. Headlines everywhere screamed, "Rhea Ripley breaks Becky Lynch in backstage attack." WWE's new power trio dominates Raw. The reign of Ripley begins. Backstage sources claimed Triple H himself had called the storyline too real to contain. Reports flooded in that WWE's creative team was split. Half believed Rhea should be suspended to keep realism alive. The other half wanted to strap a championship on her immediately. Fans couldn't believe what they were seeing as Rhea appeared live via satellite on SmackDown later that week. She sat in a dark room, lit only by a single hanging bulb, her new faction's logo, the Reign, painted behind her. "People keep asking me why I did it," she said softly. "Why betray my team? Why attack Becky? Why break the rules?" She paused, staring straight into the lens. "Because I am the rule." The crowd in the arena erupted in boos and cheers. Corey Graves whispered, "She's lost it," while Michael Cole muttered, "No, she's evolved." Then came the twist no one expected. The camera panned wider, revealing IYO Sky holding the women's championship she'd stolen during the brawl, and Grayson Waller standing proudly beside her. Rhea placed her hand on IYO's shoulder and said, "You didn't cash in your briefcase. I did it for you." Gasps filled the arena. The commentators lost their minds. Wait a minute, Ripley cashed in the briefcase. That's not even legal. Rhea smiled. It is when you run the show. The feed cut to black, but not before a cryptic message flashed on screen. Crown Jewel, the Reign rises. Social media went ballistic. Fans theorized that Rhea, IYO, and Waller were planning to invade Crown Jewel again. Not to compete, but to hijack it. Hashtags exploded. Hatsirk Reign Rising, Hitai Ripley Rules WWE, Hika Rhea, VC's Becky, Crown Jewel. By the time the next premium live event arrived, every ticket was sold out. Fans around the world tuned in, waiting for what would happen when Rhea Ripley once again walked down that ramp. And as the lights dimmed, her music hit, and that smirk returned, one thing became clear. The era of alliances was over. The reign of Ripley had officially begun,